Okay guys, so in this video I'm going to go over the week and kind of what happened in gold and NASDAQ, as I always do, starting with gold on the 4-hour time frame. So let me just delete everything first. This week was a little bit better than the other week. So if you're taking a look at direction on the 4-hour time frame, this was Monday. Price was all the way up here, so price was pretty much at a higher high because this was the last higher low, right? So I'm looking for sells come New York session here. So I go to the 1-hour time frame. Price is still bullish, so I don't see any setup. I need price to shift. Price shifts at this level on M30 because this was the last high that it made, but price never pulled back, and that was out of session. If I go to the 15, you can take a look. It's the same level. So yeah, price didn't break the high until here. So I was waiting for price to pull back into here, but it was outside of session, so no trade. Basically no trade. So then we reset. We go to the 4-hour. Go for Tuesday. This was Tuesday. Yeah, so this was Tuesday. So price is in a pullback now. So I'm just going to leave these levels here just for a second. So it's in between this. Price is bullish, but it's in between the higher high and higher low on the 4-hour. It's okay. You just got to trade the current market price structure. So current market price structure, you can see it prior to the New York session, price was bearish. It broke out, right? So I go to the 1-hour time frame. You can see that price is bearish on the 1-hour time frame. Now, I need to look for a setup. So the setup that I had looked for was this one here. It's an SNRC2, right? So, and then price failed to come back here. You can see that, right? It didn't get there. And then it got there in the New York session. So that would have been the correct setup to use for Tuesday, SNRC2 on the H1, because both the 4-hour and the 1-hour are bearish. They're both aligned. Also, I'll show you too, if you go to the 4-hour, you can see this level is the exact same level as this level here. So it's an overlap. It's the exact same level as that. So that makes it even stronger. And that's how you know it's the correct level to enter from if you're confused. So I hope that makes sense. Now, let's go to Wednesday. So Wednesday, I was looking for buys because price pretty much closed as a bearish candle here. Broke this structure here. So I was looking for buys. So I go to the 1-hour. Go to the 1-hour time frame. I take a look. I noticed that price is bullish. I noticed there's a QMR here. Oh, sorry, that was the wrong day. Sorry. Oh, no, yeah, that was Tuesday. Sorry, Monday was nothing. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, so this is the QMR pattern I noticed, but price never got there. So for me, this level became invalid by New York session time. So I just cancel it. And then I look at the current market price at that point. Look for buys. I go to the 30. This is Wednesday, yeah. Wednesday, there was another QMR here. This level here. But once price is out of session, I don't take it. So that was invalid. So there was no trades for. I'll go to the 15 too, just to check. But pretty sure for Wednesday there was nothing that I took. Let me see. Yeah, nothing. No. I mean, you could have counted this, but not really. I wouldn't have taken that. So it was already way outside session, 9:45. Yeah, and this level is way outside session. That's why I trade between 8 and 10, because obviously price will reverse at that point or you get faked out. So anyway, nothing on Wednesday. So far we only have Tuesday. So far we only had this trade Tuesday here. That was good. That was actually a valid trade. Now let's check Thursday again. Let's take a look and see what we're doing on Thursday. Thursday was a little bit more tricky. So Thursday, prior to the New York session, you had obviously this breakout here. So at that point in time, I was looking for sells. I'll just show you for Thursday. I was looking for sells. However, I'm gonna share something that I pay attention to. So hopefully this helps. So we know price is bullish. I don't really need to mark zones. I'll just mark the levels. So in between this higher high and higher low. If I'm confused on direction, what I do is I go to the daily time frame. So this was for this day here. So let me go to the daily. And then this is where I had more clarity. So I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. So you had this breakout level here. Let me just delete this. Right? And then you had this breakout level here. So price is bullish, right? So once I saw price respect this level, I was more inclined to looking for buys. So by the time it was at this level, I was looking for buys. So that's why I say to you that it can get tricky, like structure. Like for this structure here, if you're assuming this is a QMR, right? Or if you're assuming this is the, breakout and price is going to pull back and go down, that is true. It is a possibility. But you also have to pay attention to the higher time frames. So I'll just show you an example. So this was Thursday, right? So if you notice there's a QMR here, right? QMR pattern. And then obviously you would have used the apex as well. However, if I go down to the 30-minute time frame, what you're going to notice is that price had already shifted. I'm going to refine this level to here and refine this level to here. So there's the QMR, right? What you'll notice is that price has already shifted. So price is no longer bearish, it's bullish on the 30-minute time frame, right? So this is an early indication that this level up here is not going to hold. So this trade would become invalid. That's why you have to be aware of the flow of price and structure. You have to understand, kind of where price is going and what it's doing. You can't just assume that you see a setup and, it looks good and that's, and price is going to respect it, because then you're completely ignoring what the structure is, is basically telling you, right? So that's what I'm saying. It can get a little tricky. So what you'll notice is that price shifted structure here. Now price becomes bullish and this becomes invalid. At that point, you look for setups in the New York session that are related to buys, right? So what I noticed for myself is this SNRC2. So if I go to the 15 as well, you can kind of see it as well. SNRC2. There's that pattern, but before that there was another pattern, but this one had to retake because it stopped me out. So I'll just show you. So QMR, just move this for a second. This is a valid QMR, low, high, lower, low, high, high. Price came here, never tapped this, but then got taken out. So when I get taken out, I try to find a re-entry and I look for on the 5 or the 15 minute. So I got taken out here, even though it was a valid trade, it just happens. All you can do is look for another setup. So once I got taken out here, I looked at the current market price, what it was doing. And then what did I notice after this took me out here? This was the stop loss hit. Price created another mini QMR. So these are the two, now these become the two levels that I enter from, right? So you have the low, high, lower, low, higher, high, and then you enter here. And then obviously you have the apex level here. So that's how you would re-enter a trade if you got taken out, because that's basically what happened on this trade, even though it's a valid QMR. Price pretty much took me out, so that's absolutely fine. And then you wait for the next setup. So if you didn't notice the M5 creating a QMR to re-enter, or the earlier M15 QMR, that's okay, because there was the SNRC2, which came after. So this is where the QMR was, and then this is where the SNRC2 was up here, which is absolutely valid. And that's where you would have entered as well. So hope that makes sense. Pretty clean, pretty simple, right? And then next thing is we go to Friday. Take a look what happened Friday. So Friday, again, prior to the New York session, price is all the way up here, right? And the breakout level is here. So I was looking for buys. However, I'm paying attention to where price is. So by the time New York session came, I noticed that price created a higher low here. So price is obviously bullish. So I need to find a setup. So I look for a setup. No setup here. Go to the 15. What do I see? Just delete this so you guys can see what I'm talking about. QMR. Won't be obvious to you unless you go to the 5 minute, because there's more waves. So you go to the 5 minute and you can see this was the QMR level that ended up getting respected. So you have low, high, lower, low, higher, high, and then price came back and tapped. So I hope that makes sense. If you missed that, it's okay. You could have had a break and retest here. Even though price missed it the first time, came back the second time. But that's exactly what happened on Friday. Just continuation. It was the same level as the 15 minute, the 5 minutes. So it's a good valid re-entry if you didn't get the QMR. Totally fine. Other than that, that's pretty much it for that. Let's go to NAS. Take a look at NAS. Go to the 4 hour time frame. Start on Monday. Monday's here. So, and again, this could have confused some people because you could say price is going up, and then you could assume price broke structure, so now price is bearish, right? You wouldn't be wrong, but you just need to pay attention to the higher time frames, and you need to pay attention to what price is actually doing. So, I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. So, prior to the New York session, I noticed that price created a level of support here. So, also, this would have been a lower low as well. So we don't sell here, we look for buys, right? So essentially I'm looking for a buy. So I go to the 1 hour and I need to see if that makes any sense. So I go to the 1 hour and what do I see? I see price created a lower low here. So price is bearish, which means it needs to shift bullish by breaking this high here. I go to the 30, just to double check. It's the same level, right? And then once price breaks that, let's see the 15, just to see if there's an earlier break. I think it's the same level. Oh no, that's the right level. Okay. So sorry, go to the 30 minute, and then once it broke, I'll look for a setup. There was a setup, but this is outside of session. This was at 10:30, so I would have never caught this personally. But just showing you how things repeat and how you analyze the market and look for setups. So this is basically a QMR pattern. So yeah, so I hope that makes sense. This was outside of session though, so nothing I can do about that for myself. But if you guys stay on later, that's up to you. But just showing you what I look for and how I read the market. Okay, so if I go to Tuesday, prior to the New York session, what do I notice? I notice that price is creating a higher low. Why is it creating a higher low? Because I already established that the price is no longer bearish. It created a double bottom. So now I'm looking for a reversal. And in order for price to break this high, right, it needs to create a higher low first, which is actually, it did. And then price went up. So I'm going to show you basically what I was looking for. So I was looking for buys, New York session, right? So price is bullish. Basically, I just ask myself one question. Is price bullish or bearish on the 4 hour time frame? That's all I want to know. Go to the 1 hour time frame. I ask myself that same question. Is price, what was this? Sorry, was that Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday. Is price bullish or bearish? Price is clearly bullish. So now I noticed two things. I noticed I'm not referring to this candle. I'll get to that later. But I'm just looking at I'm just looking at this current price action before the New York session. Before the New York session is basically up until 8 in the morning, up until 8 a.m. So 7 a.m. candle close is basically what I look at. This is all I see. So I notice, okay, price is bullish, 4 hour, 1 hour. Looks like I got an SNRC1. So SNRC1, let's see if there's any other valid setup. This is the level I'm going to enter from, but I like to see if there's any other setup that could be refined. And then I look and I say, okay, it's pretty much the same thing, right? SNRC1 became SNRC 2. This basically became an SNRC2. So this would have been the correct level to enter from. However, I like to see if there's any other setup. So just show you, go to the 15. Oops. And then this is what I noticed there prior to the New York session. Again, price created a QMR. Oops. So this would have been the level for that I would have personally entered in at, because that's what I look for. I look for refinement, and I look if there's a better level that price will get to. And then so if there is, I like to take the better level, and then this is where obviously price tapped and went up. So that's just kind of showing you. If you didn't see that, that's okay, but I'm just showing you what I do. I look for refinements because this is a 1 hour. This is a 1 hour setup, so it's still valid. It's still an SNRC1. It's still absolutely valid because price tapped and went up, right? Anyway, so if you were looking for structure on the 4 hour time frame, right? Just gotta kind of show you. This is the breakout level, so price is bullish. Just going to show you. Refine it to this level. This would have been a better level to enter in at, but this is a little bit more advanced, and you need to have confidence in your trades. I didn't take this on this day, but I took it on the next day, and I'll show you, basically. So I'll go to the 4 hour time frame. I'll show you what I did. So come Wednesday, price is all the way up here, right? So what do I notice prior to the New York session on Wednesday? I noticed that price created a higher high and the higher low, and I'm expecting price to come back to this level of for entry, right? So, but I wouldn't take this level here. Just show you. I would never take this level to enter, because if I go to the 1 hour time frame, you can see it doesn't match anything. So the correct level would be this one, because you're refining it, and it's the correct breakout level because price also had a reaction here, right? So, and on top of that, if you go to the 4 hour time frame, you have to look at structure. You have to look at structure and the level and timing if everything makes sense. So if you notice, it does make sense. Why does it make sense? Because you have a high, low, higher high, and then obviously price wants to come back here and then go up. So that would have been the correct level to enter from on when was this? Wednesday. Yeah. So hope that makes sense. Now let's go over to Thursday. So Thursday, at first glance, this can look sideways or choppy. And when it does look like that, you just need to focus on the current market price and current structure. So I'll show you what I did. So prior to the New York session, let me just see. Yeah, this is 1 o'clock. So prior to the New York session, this is the 4 hour, what the 4 hour looks like, right? And you notice here, price broke out of all this structure here, right? Broke it out, but I'm only taking this one because it's the CMP. So now I have my, sorry, I'm having a hard time marking this. I have my higher high. This is my higher low potential, or I can use this one, doesn't really matter, but just for the sake of this, I'm going to use this. And then basically price is bullish on the 4 hour for Thursday, right? So I go to the 1 hour and I take a look here. Oops. Obviously this looks kind of choppy. Oops. This looks kind of choppy, look kind of sideways, but again, I'm just focusing on the current market price structure. So as I said to you, the 4 hours bullish. 1 hour, let's take a look. 1 hour is bullish prior to the New York session, right? Prior to New York, price is bullish because it broke all of this. So price is bullish. So I'm waiting for a pullback to go up. That's basically what I'm waiting for. So I need to find a setup that makes sense, that goes with the direction. So I go to I don't see anything on the 1 hour, obviously. So I go to the 30 minute. What I notice is that price created a QMR here. However, I don't take QMRs on the 30. They have to be refined to the 15, always for NAS. So I refined it to the 15 minute level. So this is the level that I would use to enter from. And then you can see if I zoom out, you have the low, high, lower low, higher high. Price missed it, and then here hit it and then went up. So that was the correct level to enter from. And that's basically just refining it. So if you find the QMR in the 30 minute for NAS, you're going to always want to refine it to the 15 minute. That's just how it works. And if you find it on the 15 minute, then you want to refine it to the 5 minute. So that's usually how it always works. So anyway, that's basically all that happened on Thursday, that QMR pattern. So if I go back to the 4 hour, again, reset. Now I'm taking a look here. What do I notice? I notice price is bullish, right? Price is bullish. Basically, price is bullish. I need to go to the 4-hour time frame and see if anything makes sense. So go to the 4-hour time frame. This is basically what I'm looking at, just to kind of zoom out. Oops, let me just delete this. So prior to the New York session, price is at this higher high, and I use this personally as my higher low. But I need to find a setup. So there's no setup, obviously, on this time frame. Doesn't make any sense. So I go to 30. Let's check if there's any setup. What do I notice? I notice obviously there's a break and retest, but me personally, I notice there's a QMR here. And then I go to the 15. And it's the same level. So this is the level that I would use. Now, if you guys remember, I told you about when the apex is too far. So you can see the apex is all the way down here. So in the event that this happens, I take the next breakout level. Basically, I look for the next closest breakout level in that direction. So price is, in that refinement. So this would be the next breakout level because it's right below this level. This one, this one I wouldn't take just because it's way too close and it doesn't make any sense. So this would be the level I would take because you can see the difference in points, right? So when the apex is so far away, just look and see what's the next available breakout level. If you're buying, it has to be below that level, right? So that's basically what I was looking for. So this is a QMR pattern. Obviously, you guys know low, high, lower, low, higher, high. And now I'm just waiting for price to come back to this level. And then if you move over, you can see price did exactly that. So this trade got stopped out. This was a loss. This was a win. And then this obviously never got tapped because it was too far away. So I hope that makes sense.